Hello, everybody. Welcome, everyone. And thanks for taking your time out to join us. Now, before we jump in, I want to ask a quick question to everybody out here. Now, how many of you have ever sent a LinkedIn message, like hit the send button, and immediately though thought, that wasn't probably my best idea, or maybe, you may be on the receiving end of those messages, like, hey, it says hi, hope you're doing well. But the second sentence, you're trying to book a meeting. But we've all seen it, right? The problem is in LinkedIn. The problem is how people use it. Now, today's conversation is about building relationships before trying to sell anything. Now, Brian Gillette, who's a part of the panel here, he's the founder and CEO of Feel-Good MSP, right? Brian has helped multiple, in fact, hundreds of MSPs completely change the way they use LinkedIn to create opportunities without sounding like another salesperson in someone's inbox, right? We'll also be talking about what happens after those conversations begin, because generating interest is only half the battle. And buying experience matters just as much, right? Now, this won't be a presentation. It's full of theory, right? Now, this is simply two people talking about what's actually working right now. And before we get started, here's a quick question that I want to ask all of you. How do you currently generate most of your, most of your business? Like, is that referrals, on outbound sales, LinkedIn marketing, a mix of everything? Let's see, where's everyone coming from? Well, that's quite a good response that we're getting, right? Now, why most MSPs struggle on LinkedIn is, like, I'll let Brian take the floor here. Brian, you've worked with hundreds of MSPs. When you look at someone's LinkedIn profile, what's usually the first thing that tells you that they're making life harder than it needs to be?
Yeah, Nelson, I'm glad to be here, by the way. I think it is shocking how many people haven't covered their basics, the very, very simple basics. Literally, like a good profile picture. It's shocking how many people have a 20-year-old photo from them at a wedding.
I
Or,
agree with you on that.
yeah, this something like we should know who you are. We should know what you look like. And I don't want to know what you looked like 30 years ago. I want to know what you look like. It's really, really helpful for me to build an initial relationship with you. And then I think the important elements are very simple. You need a good cover photo. You need a profile picture. You need a bio, an about section, and your work history. Those are the five ingredients. And you need to just have all of those pointed in the same direction. So let your work history not just tell the story. It's not a resume anymore. When you run a business, your LinkedIn is not a resume. Your LinkedIn is a lead magnet.
Yeah.
So you need to position all of your work history to help your current prospects understand how you're a good fit to help them. And
Okay.
if you most people leave all of those things as separate. The about section is a big long paragraph talking about themselves in the third person rather than talking to their audience.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks for that, Brian. Now, what's interesting is that almost every MSP that I speak to basically says that LinkedIn just doesn't work for us. Now, do you think LinkedIn is actually the problem, or is it how people are approaching it?
I'm going to say 80% of the time it's user error, but there is the occasional caveat. The caveat meaning, who is your target audience? If you're an MSP who specializes in retail or something, restaurants or something, those people are less likely to be on LinkedIn. So, you always want to fish where the fish are. And if your prospects aren't on LinkedIn, then I could see LinkedIn being unsuccessful for you or being less efficient for you. But
Exactly.
but no, a poor workman blames his tools. It's very easy for people to say meta ads don't work. LinkedIn doesn't work. Well, it's working for people all over the world every day. So that means your LinkedIn doesn't work, which is different than saying LinkedIn doesn't work.
That's a very good point, Brian. Right. I've been following you on LinkedIn. You usually you use a phrase that makes me laugh sometimes, right? Pitch slapping. Can you explain what that means and why do so many salespeople still do it and are continuing to do so?
Yeah. The pitch slap is I didn't coin that term, but it's one that I use liberally. The concept of the pitch slap. Well, we've all received the pitch slap. This is my definition of when you get a connection request that has a vague kind of obvious trap in the notes, and then when you click accept, they're running an automation to immediately send you a DM with a pitch in it right away. So
Yes,
it
I
says something
see at
like,
least three of them every day.
yeah, right. Oh, I found you on LinkedIn and it seems like your experience is very exciting. I'd love to collaborate. I'd love to share, to be connected with you. And then immediately they're like, at Zyborg Super AI, we're changing the way that you do this. And it's like I haven't even had time to look you up. I don't know anything about you. So that's what the pitch slap is. And the reason so many people do it is that they don't really have any idea how to start conversations. So they try to start conversations in the middle because they don't know how to create the
Yes.
early conversations.
Well, I wish my camera was working today, and you'd have caught my expression to your explanation of that statement. But as things kind of go south side, only on the most important days. So it's happening to me right now. The camera isn't working, but trust me, thank you so much for clarity, for the insight on pit slapping, right? Now, if
Uh-huh.
someone watching today wanted to completely change the way they think about LinkedIn,
Hmm.
what's the mindset shift that they need to make before they even write a post or send a message without using ChatGPT?
Yeah, good question. I think let me give you a mindset shift that should change the way you think about LinkedIn completely, not just your
Yeah.
content. We play a character when we're on social media.
Yes,
We present a version of ourselves, and we usually have different versions for different platforms.
that's correct.
Tumblr is where we all get emo and get sad. Twitter is where we all get angry and political. Facebook is where it's some combination of the middle, I guess. Facebook is its own world, or meta or whatever.
Yes,
And LinkedIn, we present the quote unquote professional version of ourselves.
yes,
And when we're playing a character, it's actually, we have to think 3 or 4 times harder before we say anything because it's like you're trying to remember lines instead of listening to somebody and responding because you're trying to think, what am I supposed to do instead of what does my instinct tell me? It's all very, very hard to be present with someone when you're playing a character. So the rules of LinkedIn, in my mind, this is the mindset shift. The rules of selling on social media are the same as the rules of networking in person.
yes.
If you go to if you go to a networking event, a cocktail event, and
Okay.
you see somebody over there with a name tag that says Bob, and Bob is nursing like a pitiful whiskey sour, and you walk up to Bob and you go, "Hey, Bob, my name is Brian. Listen, I'm running this company, and this is what my company could do for you. So, how bad is your problem that I solve?" It's insane. Like you would
Exactly.
never start a conversation like that. It doesn't mean that we should never be ashamed that we sell a product. And outbound sales, you don't have to hide the fact that you're doing outbound, but you have to remember the sequence of which conversation actually flows. You wouldn't start a conversation with the end. So you shouldn't. You should go in and make your intentions clear. We're at a networking event because all of us want to grow our business. We're on LinkedIn because we all want to grow our business. That's the context of any LinkedIn interaction. So it's not reasonable to be offended that somebody pitches you. It's like going to a dating event and being offended that somebody hit on you. That's what they're supposed to do there.
Yes,
That's the contract you all made, social contract you all made when you went to that event. On LinkedIn, you made the social contract that you want to grow your business and everybody else wants to grow their business. So that's appropriate. Sales is appropriate. What's not necessarily effective is to start with the close. It makes you come across really aggressive and it compromises your authority as a salesperson. So the next time you want to make anything on social media, imagine, would I just do or say this if the person was standing right next to me at a networking event? Would I act like this?
Yes.
If the answer is no, then you're violating the right way to use social media, and you're probably going to play a character instead of being yourself.
Right. Well, that's you hit the right point, because earlier during this session we ran a poll, right, which says, how do you currently generate most of your new businesses? Only 3% of the audience uses LinkedIn today, and everybody else is a mix of everything, right? So thanks for kind of sharing some thoughts on that. Now, one thing I love about your approach, Brian, is that you talk about giving before asking. Now, can you share probably one example of messages that you've seen generate conversations?
Yeah. We used to, I'd say 4 years ago, even as recently as 2 years ago, it still made a lot of sense to run a cold DM sequence asking for a meeting. Hi, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is the problem that I solve. If you identify with that problem, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Really simple. That remains relatively effective. But what we
Yeah,
have found in the recent years is that because of now, I think the rise of AI is a big part of it. Now, how easy it is to send outbound. Now there is so much outbound that you can't ask for a cold meeting in a LinkedIn DM from somebody
exactly.
who doesn't know you. You need to give them something before you ask them for something. So the new play really is the rise. We're in the era of the rise of the lead magnet.
Exactly. I mean, it works the same for me because I lead sales here at Zomentum, and I can relate to what you say, right? Because there's always what's in it for me, and if it's something that you should be solving. So if you or your solution is solving a problem that your ideal customer is facing, you're already halfway through, right? So it's right what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk about warm conversations, right? This probably might be one of those last two questions, right? Let's
Uh-huh.
talk about warm conversations here. Someone has liked some of your posts over the last month. Would you message them anything? If so, like, those are your prospects. If so, what do you actually say?
Yeah.
Obviously, what you sell is totally different than what I sell. So yeah, love to hear something generic as well.
Yeah. So somebody has liked a few of your posts. Maybe they commented on something. Um, I'm going to offer them something, and ideally, it's offering them something that had something to do with one of my previous posts. We'll get into this hopefully if we have a chance to talk about content and a little bit about 360 Brew, the LinkedIn algorithm update for 2026. But
I mean,
there's one of
I'd love for you to kind of go over it. So I'd love to hear more about it.
well, let me say this: there's two directions that I
Okay.
would go if somebody's engaging with me. The first direction is, do I have something to give them based off of an estimated guess of what they're engaging with?
Okay.
Do I have something of value to give them and go, um, hey, I don't know that I know you very well. I made this thing based on, like, I know you work here and you do this and you do this. You are not too busy, or whoever's in charge of biz dev is not too busy to go to their profile and make a legitimate observation about them.
Hmm.
You're
That's
not too busy
interesting.
for that. Don't just, like, this is where AI is going to make you look and sound like a jackass. It's like, oh my God, I noticed we both love sales. Okay, now that we have a rapport, book a meeting with me. Or I love what you're doing over at insert company name. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
It makes you look so lazy, and it will erode any sense of trust, right? So instead, give them something, and don't just give it. Offer them something for free. Like, hey, I made this guide on LinkedIn. That was a silly example. I wrote this 13-page book on LinkedIn. This is made up. I don't really have a book on LinkedIn. And um, some of my I sell it to a lot of my clients are using it and they've actually gotten a few meetings in the first few weeks. I'd be happy to just give it to you. Any interest? And ask a
Oh,
yes or no question. And then get them to go, sure. Here you go. Give it to them. Download. Not trackable. No UTMs. Just give it to them. And then
yeah,
go, hey, if it's okay, I'd love to ask you what you thought of it in a week or two. Let me know if you'd rather I just buzz off. And they probably won't even answer, which is a tacit acceptance that you're going to follow up with them. Or they'll go, sure, you can follow up with me. And then I'm going to plant a seed. I'm going to come back and see if it's sprouted. So that's number one. Number two is just start a normal conversation like you would at a networking event. And any icebreaker skills that you have, any book about icebreaking, any book about being likable, any book about social selling is going to give you a lot of ways that you can start conversations. The great news is once you have 2 or 3 conversation starters, you can use them on everybody you meet. Just legitimately start talking to them. Give them what I have found is a genuine compliment is one of the best ways to start a conversation. Genuine means you have to look at them and research them long enough to come up with something that you can admire that's going to flatter them or make them feel seen. And then something like, oh my gosh, your about section made me laugh when you said so and so. I
yeah,
totally relate to that. I had a similar experience. How long you been on LinkedIn? Something. I think those are the two potential directions I would take somebody who's like engaging with content, but not necessarily showing an indication of desire to buy.
perfect. So thanks for that. Here comes our third audience poll. Question to the audience is, how many days a week are you currently active on LinkedIn? Right.
Hmm.
There are some options, which is every day, a few times, occasionally, almost never. And I've got the first answer was almost never, but yeah, answers are flowing in. But while that flows in, Brian, everyone claims that they figured out the algorithm, right? Some people say hashtags matter, others say they don't. Some say links will kill your reach itself, right? So some say they don't.
Hmm.
So let's separate fact from fiction. What actually changed?
Yeah. For starters, we have to all accept that nobody really 100% knows. So that's my initial caveat, right?
Okay,
All the LinkedIn pros all the time are confused by the LinkedIn algorithm because the LinkedIn algorithm is changing really fast. That's why.
okay,
Uh, the general premise I'm going to give here is a lot of times there's been this pushback for LinkedIn content where people say, this isn't for LinkedIn. This should be on Facebook. Have you ever heard that before, Nelson?
many a times. The reason why I say that is because most of the MSPs that I speak to are very active on Facebook and not on LinkedIn.
Right. But you post a photo of you and your wife on the 4th of July, which is the American holiday we just had,
Yeah,
and people go, this is face for Facebook. This shouldn't be on LinkedIn. Well,
yeah,
actually,
so many.
people say it all the time, right?
Yes,
Here's my argument. Actually, you saw it and then you commented on it, which means that's actually what people want.
makes sense.
We have to accept that we're in a post-pandemic world where personal and professional lives are irreversibly intermixed. When I post, I will spend hours crafting a post and it'll get like 3 likes or whatever, and it's probably it's beneficial. I'll post a random picture of me and my wife on a road trip and it'll get like 70.
It 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 actually happened with me, and I had to bring that post down is because there was a good amount of engagement, but same thing. This isn't for LinkedIn. It's for something like a Facebook or Instagram, right? But it makes
But they
sense.
say that, but except the proof is in it's okay, listen to this, right? The movie theater industry is dying because people don't like going to movies.
Yeah.
And so studios have to make movies that they know people will go and see. So when you poll the world and you
Yes.
say, "Do you want original movies or sequels?" What do you think everybody says? Originals.
Originals, yes.
I want new stories. Come on, man. Hollywood's getting so lazy. Show me new movies. But people will always vote with their dollars, and their vote with their
Yes.
dollars oftentimes conflicts with the vote of their mouth. And so everybody says they want original movies, but then no one goes to see original movies. So Hollywood just makes sequels because people will go and spend the $20 to sit in Toy Story 5 or whatever, Beverly Hills
Yeah.
Cop 6, but they won't go see a new cutting edge original movie that won at Cannes Film Festival. They won't see it because the truth is they don't actually care about news stories as much as they ideologically care about it. So people say this stuff isn't for Facebook, and then they all like and comment on it, which means no, this is not for Facebook. This is for LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is still a professional
Right.
platform and will remain a professional platform. But who among us doesn't feel more connected to one another when we know a little bit more about our personal lives? So, anyway, that's just my caveat. That was longer than I expected to go on that. But the
No,
new algorithm name in 2026 is 360 Brew. And
360
uh,
bruises.
360 Brew is changing still a lot from when they first released it. But here's the core parameters of 360 Brew. Um, it is essentially an intent based reasoning model rather than a kind of a topic based. So, whereas, and think about the olden days, think about Twitter is probably what, 20 years old? I think Twitter invented the
Yes,
hashtag. And
exactly.
because there was now millions of people posting every day and no way for us to catalog or index the content. AI large language reasoning models did not exist. So what did we use? We used hashtags so that we could categorize topically self-imposed by users. And then there became a whole hashtag subculture of using hashtags as punchlines and all sorts of things. But obviously now we can read a post and AI knows also AI, all the platforms know everything about you. They have an entire profile on you and an entire profile on everybody. So when I post about Nelson's favorite band,
Mhm.
they LinkedIn knows that it's your favorite band and they're going
Yes.
to give it to you because LinkedIn's job is to get you to stay on LinkedIn. That's their job is
Um,
not to help you grow your business. Their job is to get you to stay on LinkedIn. And you have to remember that and not whine about it or fight against it, accept that that's what this platform is doing for you and use it to your advantage. So it is using AI reasoning, at least allegedly, to replace
mhm.
the legacy algorithm. It has like 150 billion parameter decoder model, is what they say, to rank things based off of like it has a human-esque semantic understanding of what you're saying and it's going to feed that to the people who they think want to see it. So it's more important than ever that you're clear and that you're specific rather than trying to be hacking the algorithm with hashtags. So if you put 40 hashtags on your post, hashtag MSP,
Mhm.
hashtag MSP sales, hashtag managed services sales, that's not helping you at all. It's
Yeah.
actually just showing that you don't have an audience.
Sure. So,
Um, Go ahead.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to take too much of your time. I know we had a limited time here, but then just few or the for the last questions. Now, you recommended the 70-15-15 framework. Can you explain as to how an MSP should actually use that?
Yes. So one of the biggest indicators right now, or the most successful things on LinkedIn right now, is not a like. It's not a comment. It's a save.
Mhm. Okay.
Reposts are always going to be great, but saves and shares. And that is because LinkedIn is trying to get people to actually post meaningful content, not slop. Nobody saves slop. So
Okay.
if you want people to engage with you at a high level, you need content that's worth saving. So we're on the back end on our team right now. We're on an entire initiative to create content that's longer form and that's more
Mhm.
instructional and
Okay.
more valuable. Like, hey, here's the 6 things you can do to increase your LinkedIn presence. And you make a carousel out of it and you make it so detailed that they can't remember it all at once. and now they need to
Nice.
save it. So the 70-15-15 blueprint, the concept is 70% of your posts are authority that are aiming for saves. It is,
Okay.
these are just some examples as like data-driven infographics, frameworks, case studies, specifics. If I were an MSP, I'd be like, here's the 15 keyboard hacks that you didn't know you needed on Windows. I don't know why MSPs,
Yeah.
I've given this example for 5 years. Nobody ever takes me up on it. Most of the world's sitting in a Windows computer and has no idea all the keyboard shortcuts. They don't even know what the Windows key does. They've probably never even pressed it. Show them
Yeah.
Windows key shortcuts. And I would do stuff like that, or like free hotkey scripts that can automate the first 10 minutes of your day on Windows, and comment blank and I'll send you the long form version of it. And then you just have a carousel of those examples. Stuff like that people are like, oh, that's legitimately helpful right now, whether I buy from you or don't. The next
Sure.
15% of your content should be the personal or the human insight stuff. Don't template it. Stories. When I write a story on a LinkedIn post, like one time this happened to me, then this happened, and here was the twist. Here was the culmination, and the lesson that I took away was this. Those
Hmm.
posts do so much better than the like hyper instructional stuff. You actually don't want to be too instructional. You want to be helpful. So that's the other
Hmm.
15%. And the last 15% is going to be your true growth and lead gen stuff. And this is what every MSP actually fails on. I would say to any MSP here who's like, no, I post on LinkedIn all the time. When is the last time you actually made an offer on social media? Like,
Yeah.
I could support
I
your
mean, you
IT. I
offered
could
a
get you
certain
AI ready.
percentage.
Sorry, go ahead, Nelson.
No, I said you meant like offering a certain percentage, like a discounted rates or anything on social
Or
media,
or
anything.
even just said, I'm an IT company. DM me if you're interested in chatting. Just actually presented your services. You probably haven't on a post. You're probably
Exactly.
just posting cartoons that somebody else made for you and wondering why nobody wants to talk to you because you're the cartoon guy. You're not necessarily the helpful guy. So 70% is around authority, driving for like saves and really making people respect your position. 15% is personal,
Mhm.
human insight, and then the last 15% should be around growth and lead gen.
Sounds perfect. So this is my favorite part that I've been waiting for this for today, right? Rapid fire, right? Brian, don't think, just answer. Carousel or video?
Carousel.
Uh, Brian, can you hear me?
Yes, carousel.
Hey, carousel, right? Uh, Morning or afternoon posting?
Doesn't matter, but afternoon.
3 posts a week or 1 post every day?
3 posts every day. One post
Okay,
every day.
that's too much. That's
One
too
post a
much.
day.
But should people use AI to write LinkedIn posts?
AI should AI should not draft your posts. Use AI to interview you like Barbara Walters and get great insights out of you and then tell you what the most interesting answers were and then write LinkedIn posts based off of that.
Right. Voice notes and DMs?
Yes, but only once you mid conversation, not openers.
Biggest LinkedIn myth?
Is that LinkedIn is a resume, not a
Okay.
website.
Biggest sales myth?
Biggest sales myth is that there's too much competition in your market. There isn't.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that. So yeah, Brian, let's finish with one question. If everyone watching today only remembered one thing from this entire session, right? What's that one piece of advice that you would want to you'd want them to kind of put into practice this week?
Hmm. That advice would be you have years, maybe decades of knowledge that are really valuable. And just because people haven't yet engaged with you doesn't mean they don't want or need your expertise. You just need to find a way to package it so that they know how to consume it. But the truth is that you deserve, and your market deserves, your city deserves, your prospects deserves, your future clients deserve for you to post all the time and for you to reach out to strangers and offer them your services.
Okay, great. I love that. Everyone joined today because they are looking for opportunities, more opportunities. Now, the good news is that LinkedIn still works incredibly well, right? And the difference is that buyers expect conversations instead of pitches. Now, build trust first, create value consistently, make it easy for people to buy when they're ready. Now, if today's call session gave you a few ideas you'd like to implement, we'd love to continue the conversation. Now, Brian, if he has put together some fantastic resources, try and follow him. You would see him tagged in our LinkedIn posts. And if you'd like to see how Zomentum helps MSPs take those conversations all the way through proposals, e-signatures, and payments, we'd be happy to show you. Right now, I'm also letting you know that we are offering Zomentum marketing services for free for 1 month. Right. So if you guys are interested, please reach out to us. And Brian, anything that you'd like to give away to the audience?
I do have some sequence templates that I can give as
Okay.
just to start pen on paper. So yeah, if
Okay.
anybody's interested, I have yeah, this is how you give away a lead magnet, or this is how you start a conversation cold to go in for a meeting. I have some of those sequences, and I'm happy to offer those to anybody who wants.
Perfect. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining in, right, and making this entire conversation so insightful. As a sales professional, I learned a lot from the session, right? But and everybody, thank you so much for joining the session. We look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Glad to be here. Thanks, everyone.
glad to be here too. Bye bye.